welcome to the Dose of Common Sense. If common sense is so common, how come it seems nobody has it? Happy Independence Day, everybody. Broadcasting live from Tech File Studios in San Antonio, Texas. July 4th, 2017. Straight out of the gate, we got a good one for you here. Remember LeEco? China's Netflix. Well, after their tremendous launch at CES and trying to push literally telephones, televisions, and tell everybody you know that we are now in the United States, not only has LeEco pulled out of the United States pretty much, I mean, they laid off 70% of their workers. However, also to add on top of that, LeEco has had lots of assets, actually not all that many, frozen in China. Bloomberg has the account of this story, and I will put that in the show's description, but needless to say, despite having quite a bit of debt, they still have the assets in which to pay off the debt or service the debt, as you will. More on this story as it comes, folks. Also, for anyone interested in Roku, I know I have one here. Roku Sales halted in Mexico due to hacking. Well, of course. You put out a device that roughly operates, I'm going to say Linux, I'm probably wrong. You're going to have people try to sideload apps or sideload programs. And for the most part, anybody with half of a brain and access to any developer website is able to do it. At least as far as I know. I know XDA developers service the entire world as far as that's concerned. But apparently Mexico has an issue with it, so they've halted sales. The Verge has this story. The link will be in the show's description, but needless to say, Roku does not appreciate not being able to sell their units in Mexico, obviously, for the simple fact that just because developers and what have you are sideloading apps and rooting, ROMing, and hacking said device in order to obtain free television, I can name of about 100 at least, 100 different devices that are able to do that. Pretty much all you need to do is download Kodi. If you don't know what Kodi is, Google it. Because I am unfortunately not able to give that kind of information over the air. However, this I can give. The Galaxy Note FE will be launched July 7th, and it will start launching in South Korea. And the likelihood of the United States seeing a Galaxy FE is about the chance of any one of us seeing an actual Note 7 for sale. Unless you want to import it at considerable more cost than what you would normally get in the States, the US will never see it, unfortunately. However, given the fact that we are already on Samsung, let's continue with that, shall we? Galaxy Note 8. Remember all the renders we've seen on the internet and all the renders we've seen on various tech channels? Well, turns out that design is probably more accurate as we realized. And the biggest hint of this was given by, from what I'm understanding, it's one of the wrap companies, whether it's Slick Wraps or D-Brand. It was probably Slick Wraps. But rumor has it that Slick Wraps was given the heads up on the design, and apparently somebody said something they shouldn't have, and that's how we ended up getting the renders, which will probably end up being the design. I just have one specific question in mind. Would somebody name to me why in the name of hell they left the fingerprint scanner at the exact same damn location that the fingerprint scanner was on the Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus. I can't think of a single tech reviewer or a single tech expert that did not criticize the location of said fingerprint scanner. I was included amongst that because I thought that was absolutely stupid. Let's put a fingerprint scanner right next to the camera and let's see what you're going to hit first. It's probably going to be the camera. Just make sure when you do that, you're not taking a picture soon after the event, because you're going to end up with one big greasy smudge, because as anyone knows, those types of phones that are glass-backed, glass-fronted, and for that matter, even if it's shiny, it's going to take all the skin oil you can give the damn phone. And for some reason, they decided they're going to leave the fingerprint sensor next to the camera. Let's see how many complaints they're going to get over that. Now let's step away from Samsung for just a minute, and let's go to a company that we haven't brought up since I've launched, I know, but a company that I haven't heard too much of until very recently again. The Moto Z Play was a success. Apparently they've come out with the Moto Z2, or the second generation of. I'm probably butchering the name, I'm sorry, Motorola. Please forgive me. Apparently, there are many mods available for the Moto Z. Here's the one particular issue that was brought up earlier tonight. Mr. Fisher, here you go. And I'm going to bring this up right now. I'm going to go ahead and forward this question to my audience. If anybody had the Moto X4 2015, it was a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. The new generation of the Moto Z has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. The new generation Moto Z charge time from 0 is about 2 hours. If I remember this correctly, the recharge time for the Moto X Pure from 0 to 100 was about 75 minutes. Come to find out, I do believe the charger, if I remember this part correctly, the charger on the Moto Pure was a 25 or 35 milliwatt charger, and the one that they're using now is the 15. My question is, why? But sticking with Motorola for a minute, rumors of the Moto X4. That's right, the fourth generation of the Moto X. Rumors have it that it's going to launch in Q4. And I'm looking at the specs. Snapdragon 630, suitable screen. It's not upside down. OnePlus. I'm not going to get on that for long. Actually, yes, I will, unfortunately. However, Moto X4 rumors detail a very well-built mid-range handset, and it's going to launch, like I said, Q4. And if I do remember also correctly, that may very well be the phone that Project Fi, or one of the phones that Project Fi adds to its lineup. Let's hope that stays true, because I'm definitely looking forward to that. Here's the one thing that the rumor mill can't decide on, and I'll forward this to you as well. The Moto X, they don't know if it's going to have one rear camera or two. I really hope that it's not two, because that does not seem like Motorola. That does not seem like Lenovo. I understand we're in this dual sensor fad right now, but I'm sorry, that just don't seem to make sense to me. Anyway, the description for all these articles will be, okay. There's my July 4th screw up, guys. The links to all the articles will be in the show's description. Feel free to look them up for yourselves. I thank Ostroid.net and AndroidMe.com for the news on this. Now we're going to do an abrupt shift over to iOS. iPhone 8 still has rumors about what it's going to use for an unlock mechanism. Touch ID, which has worked pretty much since the iPhone 5S. Apple's not sure whether or not they're going to use it. Rumors have it that the button's going to either A, be moved to the back of the phone, B, be moved inside the display, which I'm not sure about that. But here's the one thing that just slams me off my rocker, guys. The iPhone 8 is rumored to possibly have what's known as Face Unlock. Does anybody remember Ice Cream Sandwich for Android, otherwise known as Android 4? Does anybody also realize the fact that Face Unlock what it actually is on the Samsung Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus? And does anybody also remember the fact that Face Unlock sucks? It's not reliable. You can fool it with a picture. Please, 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 Apple, I love you for the love of God. Please do not have Face Unlock for this. I pray that you don't have Face Unlock. If so, I may have to very well give up this phone when I pay it off, or just keep it until it falls apart, which I'm happy with it, so I might do that. Next up, we're going to shift away from iOS, and we're going to go to wearables for a second. And I'm going to go off this. So we had the Pebble. Actually, before the Pebble, we had the Gear. The Gear sucked. The original Galaxy Gear. Sorry, Samsung, it did. Then we had the Pebble. R.I.P. Pebble. Because they got Fitbitted. Then you have the Vector, which was basically its display was based off the Pebble. However, it was a lot better in quality, a lot more expensive. They got Fitbitted. So everybody's thinking under the sun, Fitbit's going to get into the smartwatch business. I mean, you might as well say they're already into the fitness wearables. Why not just take that extra step and get into a smartwatch? Did that actually happen? We're still waiting. And according to The Verge and Pocket now, Fitbit is currently having issues with watch development. I'm actually scratching my head at this one. I kind of don't understand why they are. It doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Fitbit, you were right front and center before almost any of these guys got onto the market. I mean, you guys are the pros. You'd think you'd stick with this, right? Oh, maybe not so much. Is this company one that has set on its laurels, reiterating the same design and the same build over and over and over again? Or are they just having stumbles trying to get to that next step? Check the article in the show's description and find out for yourselves. Or send me a comment. I can always use a few of those. That's going to be, in order to do that, contact me at show, SHOW, at techfilesmedia, TEKFILESMEDIA.com. Or follow me at techfiles. And I will be more than happy to respond to any comments, questions, tips and tricks. Just don't be a hater. But it's July 4th, so in the States, happy Independence Day. Canada already had Canada Day. So. And remember the other night I did mention about the LG G6 Mini. God, let's just hope this isn't a castrated version of the LG G6, which it looks like it's probably going to be. It's only going to have one camera sensor in the back, guys. Unlike the Moto X, which they don't know if it's going to have one or two. but looks like the Q6, yes, it's a Q, is only going to have one camera sensor in the back, and it's more or less going to be a castrated version of the G6, unfortunately. OnePlus. Here we go. Apparently OnePlus cannot only put their display units in phones upside down, allegedly, but apparently on some units now, when you rotate the screen, it breaks the stereo audio codecs. We don't know exactly what causes that. However, when you go and switch the stereo from the right to the left channel, when you orientate the device, apparently the stereo part of it simply stops working. Here's my question. Why? OnePlus, you're getting really good at manufacturing. You're getting really good at public relations. I've actually had a couple of your devices and never had any problems in the whole time I've had them. What is it? Number one, I'm going to put out two questions. What is it about this particular phone that it seems like we're having more issues than the New York Daily News? And why is it that anytime any phone has been released in the last, I'm just going to say 2 years, and this one I'll go ahead and credit the iPhone 6 for starting this. Everyone has to find, the very first thing that has to happen is everybody has to find any bug or anything that's wrong with it. But in your particular case, you're making this really, really easy. And I'm not blaming you, and I'm not even blaming the manufacturing. I'm blaming your quality control, like I said the other day. I would love to get my own OnePlus 5 and not use my friends. I know. But apparently you guys can't seem to catch a break. But from what I'm hearing, the updates that you're getting is working on the issues, and it's slowly but surely resolving those. So let's hope that gets better so you can get all the people off your back, and you guys can keep riding high and fast. So we'll see what happens on that. So let's go with this. Let's go back to what we were talking about earlier. You put out a version of a phone that with quick charge charges it almost 45 minutes faster than the other one. Why? Is it cost? I don't think so. I think it's the fact that you were acquired. The Moto X4 was released and announced, released, launched, what have you, about, I'm going to say, and I'm probably wrong on this, maybe, I'm going to say probably about 6 months to a year after Lenovo acquired Motorola, and they probably had that particular launch in the pipeline. Okay, so apparently when Motorola, they weren't going to have the Motorola brand, and then they had so much of a backlash, they decided they were going to have the Motorola brand, and you put out a couple of devices that were Verizon exclusives. Why? And then you launched the Moto Z. So my guess is, and this is going to answer anybody's questions out there that caught this conversation on Twitter, my guess is going to be that the original Moto X4, the one that was released in 2015 with the bigger charging brick and the more power to it, it was already in pipeline. It couldn't be changed. And for some reason, when they designed and announced and launched the Moto Z, nobody looked into the specs and said, hey, we're going to be releasing this product and we're going to claim that it has quick charge, but we're going to kind of castrate it and lower the capacity on it. You know, you think you might want to change that. Apparently you didn't. So you're probably going to have that question asked more than once. You might want to get an answer ready. Oh, now. just saying. So, now in the daily driver files, we have a couple of additional emails. Shirley from Oregon. I carry the HTC One M9. Hopefully you got it after everyone said it was a miniature oven. Especially after they came out with the BS thing about the Snapdragon 810, which wasn't exactly BS. It was just blown way out of proportion. So, I hope you're having fun with that phone, Shirley. I really am. Kate from the United Kingdom. Oh, that's kind of ironic. Kate from the United Kingdom. I have the Sony Z5 Compact. Loved the phone ever since I had it. Well, that's good. That is very good. I personally would have loved to have had the Z5 Premium. However, the Premium meant that it was premiumly out of my budget range, so I wasn't able to get it. So, I would love to get a look at a Sony phone. I haven't seen one, I'd say, in probably about a year and a half. I would actually love to see what they had. And if I have the opportunity in the next week or two, I'll take it. Tom in Rhode Island. Oh, I carry the original Moto X. I don't use my phone for anything but Facebook, conversations, and text. Moto X is all I need to carry with me on a daily basis. The only thing I don't like about the Moto X would be the battery. Oh, no kidding. I had problems with the Moto X as far as the battery was concerned too. So I had generation 2 though. So, but you know, here's my philosophy on phones, and I'll say this one more time: get what you need for your needs, not the next best thing because you think it's the best. Get what you know works for you. I carry 2 phones, like I've said many times. I carry the Galaxy S8 Plus, I carry the iPhone 7 Plus. Reason being, I have knowledge of both operating systems. I know what works, I know what don't. Because my primary job involves 2 things: news, opinion, one and the same. And my other job technically is sales and social media. So as far as that's concerned, I have to know what I'm doing. Otherwise, if you come up and you think you know what causes the sun to rise and you say blank, which we know is gravity and orbit and everything else, and you don't know what you're talking about, no one's going to believe you. Kind of like, unfortunately, HTC, when they originally announced the One M9 and said this has an awesome camera. As we all know, if you've had the One M7, the One M8, or the One M9, it did not have a good camera. I'm sorry. I haven't seen a good camera in HTC until the HTC 10. And HTC, even though they've done a dramatic turnaround in the last year, they still have a long ways to go. So, we shall see what happens at that point. Now, I will tell you one phone that I used to have, because I can't access the next email. Thank you, computer. Apparently there is a glitch with iOS 11. Okay, so one of the phones that I had, and this is going to be a very interesting phone. If anybody remembers this, it's the LG G Flex. Now, the LG G Flex wasn't a small phone. It was exactly the same size that the Galaxy Note 8 is supposed to be. It was 6.3 inches. It has 3900 milliamp hour battery. Unfortunately, I don't think it could have gotten above Android Marshmallow. I don't think there's been any software updates past that. But if you root and ROM it, you can probably get Nougat pretty quick. Screen resolution wasn't that great. It was like 245 pixels per inch, something like that. One thing I loved about the phone was its screen size, the fact that it had a curve, and the fact that it had 32 gigabytes of storage. And back when I had that phone, you can root them real easy, because all you had to do was literally run Talroot APK, and you can download that off of Google. And at the time, it wasn't patched, and you could just download it, run the app, and voila, you're rooted. Unfortunately, what they failed to tell you, and this is way back in the day, when I rooted every single phone I can get a hold of, here's the principle. If you have any questions before you root or ROM a phone, any questions whatsoever, here's my advice to you. Don't. Little story what happened with the G-Flex. Oh, may you rest in peace. Rooted the phone. I put Viper for Android on there. It's an awesome sound application. If you have your phone rooted, go to XDA Developers. You can find it pretty easily. Don't go to the one in the Play Store. It's crap. So I rooted the phone, put Viper for Android on there, and then I said, I need to put a recovery on it. So I decided to try to put a recovery on it and bricked the phone. Thankfully, I was still under warranty. They exchanged it, no questions asked. Thank you for that, LG. And everything was lovely for about another 3 weeks, and then I ended up switching phone companies because of issues. And no one's going to get that answer out of me. So, if you want to talk about your daily driver, send me an email at show@techfiles.com or tweet at me at techfiles. And I will be more than happy if you would like me to. I can discuss that on air and let you know what I personally think of the product. Guys and girls, ladies and gents, I thank you for letting me in your homes tonight or tomorrow or whenever you choose to listen to the episode. I thank you very much for everyone who's listened so far. For those of us in the States, have a very happy Independence Day. Thank you. Now, if anybody wants to listen to all of the applications that I am available on and all of the podcatchers, please catch us on Google Play Music, Stitcher, digitalpodcast.com, tunein.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, Pocketcast. And of course, as always, none of this would be possible without Spreaker. And I thank them for their support. Select music tracks by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. If anybody needs royalty-free music, I highly suggest that website. It's an awesome website to go to. Thank you, Kevin. Otherwise, everyone have a wonderful July 4th. And I will be back on air July 5th. And you will probably get this on the 6th. Happy Independence Day to my listeners in the States. Happy July 4th to all those around the world. And we will talk to you later. Stay classy. This has been a Tech Files Media production.